how's it hanging in your neck of the woods?
It's I mean it's crazy in a very slow moving way. Like obviously nobody's ever gonna go out and play shows again the way that they used to. No one's gonna be able to go out to parties. Well, there are parties, but they're the kind of parties that you have to show your ID at the door. And I'm sorry, that's not the kind of party that I like to go to. It's like, yeah, people used to go to New York to rebel and like be part of the counterculture or whatever. And I'm sorry, there's no counterculture that exists that involves showing us your papers and how about a little Bluetooth wristband? The first article I wrote for my website way back in the day was about a festival where I had snuck into with some friends, and we had gotten away with not having to deal with A, the paying for it, and B, the wristband, because they were making everybody wear RFID wristbands. And I said at the time that this is to try to make these things seem cool because it was like a Burning Man type crowd. And so people were going to see it and think, oh, if these people are okay with it, it must be okay. And yeah, sure enough, here we are 4 or 5 years later, whatever it is. And I just remember that the things malfunctioned constantly. For one thing, like you needed to show it in order to be able to let out to go to the bathroom. So if your card was your RFID card was malfunctioning, then you did what? You shat on the beach. I mean, this was a beach party, so it's like there wasn't really any options. And so either you shat on the beach or you shat in a bag and you hoped that like maybe your thing would work later. I mean, by the end, by halfway through the night, half the bartenders were taking cash and all the vendors were taking cash because nobody could get their RFID chips to work. So I mean, that's something that a lot of people leave out from these sagas of like complete dystopia is that not only are these things completely 24/7 evil Big Brother surveillance, they aren't going to work half the time, and then you're still not going to be able to eat. So it's like
Right.
it's insult to injury basically. It's you're getting screwed both ways coming and going, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you've like rebelled beforehand and avoided this whole path, which it looks like we're running out of time for that. I mean, you mentioned it being September, and that cyber polygon was back in what,
Right.
June or July or something like that. Someone, I forget who said it, but somebody tried to compare the timeline of that to Event 201.
Eventual
And
one, yeah.
yeah, so that would be, I mean, if you look at just when it started, it was almost simultaneous, but that was just because that they count the start time from when the Military World Games happened. But if you count the thing from when everybody noticed, it would be 4 months. And so it's like, yeah, September, October kind of thing. I'm getting into the train station to go home, and there's like the 10 FBI dudes in a circle next to the train station, all about lockdown, and it's like you guys are really going to need to step up your game if you want to compete with the Biden Day celebration people, and they're all colorful and shiny and loud and spectacular, and it's like, and it's not like that they had. It's not like anybody had to pay for that either. That was just people who had been conned into thinking that this was their candidate. I
Right.
doubt they'd be very excited today if that happened. Although who knows
Who knows?
if they tried to run Biden against again, it would be really funny if anybody showed up. I mean, I said at the beginning of the that this is like the film The Producers, and that means I don't know. Are you familiar with that film?
It
It's,
reminds
it's,
me.
it's it started as a Broadway show, but it's basically the idea is to put on the biggest flop possible and get all these people to contribute money to the flop, and then when it tanks on opening night, you have all this money, but nobody wants to come see the show, so you don't have to put on the show, and you get to keep all the money. And that's
It's
basically
great.
what the was, because it was like these two candidates who obviously don't want to be left holding the bag when the U.S. empire collapses, and Biden's got holding the bag, and